So who is Liza Lesedi?
Liza Lesedi is a mother. She's a chef. She's a wife. And she's an online superstar. She is everything from trying to empower women by taking on and accepting who she has become in her life and who she was growing up, and the whole metamorphosis, right? And the whole change through life. And also to educate people. That is
what better platform than all your platforms?
I have a lot of platforms.
You do have a lot of platforms. So I want to know, how does Liza Lesedi make her money?
Well, through my social media platforms, mostly through OnlyFans. That being...
What is OnlyFans?
OnlyFans is a social media platform that, well, they say it's for sex workers, essentially. But I don't really like the term, because you could also just be teaching, sports classes, fitness classes. You could be selling diet programs. But because the majority of people that have accounts there are liberated and get money from, whether it's posing nude, to doing pornography, to being a porn star, whatever they want to do, but in the safety of their own home. It's actually an amazing platform. It's allowed mothers and people that are liberated to actually stay home in a safe environment and make a hell of a lot of money.
And Liza, so would you go as far as to say that it also empowers prostitutes who normally had to be on the street to make money, and now they don't have to have that sex stuff, and they can just be on OnlyFans?
No more pimps involved. Women are able to be there in business for themselves. They're safe, whereas strippers would have to get on a pole in a nightclub or whatever. They now don't have to deal with management. They don't have to deal with patrons grabbing at them, or the safety when they leave their club at the end of the night. They don't have to give a chunk of change to whoever the big boss is, right? They get to keep all the money to themselves. They would pay 20% to OnlyFans, but essentially it's like paying for a rental, or like paying for your space. Yeah. That's your space that you're paying for. And not only that, they actually give you legal assistance if you need it.
Okay, so what is it that you actually do? I mean, you've thrown around a couple of descriptions.
Yeah.
But what do you describe that you do?
Wait, on OnlyFans or across the board?
Yeah.
Because
across the board and on OnlyFans.
Okay, well, each of my platforms are very different. So I'm a chef, and I started out as a chef. I trained, worked around the world as a chef. And then I was so sick and tired of being pushed around by men in kitchens, because it's a man's world out there, that I thought, screw it. There's all these social media platforms, and people are making tons of content, and they become famous, and they're actually able to teach others how to cook. So I said, I'm going to start a page for that. So then I've started. So Liza Lesedi is delicious. That is one. And it's been actually wildly popular. In fact, my TikTok channel has almost 200,000 followers.
I see your Instagram has 855,000 followers.
That's just one of my Instagram pages. My other one has 25.1 thousand, and that's my backup account.
Okay, so let's just go back to OnlyFans. Yeah. So how do you manage your day's work? Like, I mean, it's not a normal day's work. So tell me about your day.
Honestly, it's kind of a crapshoot on any given day. You wake up and you go, okay, wait, which one do I want to do first? Do I want to create a cooking show today? Okay, wait, you've got to pump out a picture now on Instagram. You've got to constantly stay relevant. It's all about relevance. And social media, it's like you're swiping constantly. So if you're not in that swipe, you're a nobody. You become a nobody. So you constantly have to be feeding content. And so it doesn't matter how your day transpires. The only thing I know every morning when I wake up, I have to create content and I have to post content.
Okay, and then how do you decide on the content? Like what you're wearing, what you're doing, how much you're showing? So am I right in saying that Instagram doesn't allow you to show nipples and bits, but OnlyFans you can go
You can do whatever you want on OnlyFans. They are,
okay.
well,
So Instagram's almost a
reason, but on OnlyFans, but it's all legal rules, right? What is legal and what is illegal. So, but no, you can go fully nude. You can do whatever you want, really, for, you know, to yourself on OnlyFans. On Instagram, there's community guidelines, like there is TikTok, YouTube. All of these social media platforms have community guidelines. So you have to follow the community guidelines in order to get ahead. But that being said, there's a fine line. You know, I've worn sheer tops before and it gets pulled down, but it's still wearing an item of clothing, right? But then I'll see another girl wearing, a mesh white top that's had water poured all over it, and you can see her nipples clear as day, and that just doesn't, it never gets taken down. So tell me,
so it's not standard.
Yeah, there's different standards. Just depends who reports you.
Okay, I was really curious about I'm going back to the work. So you wake up in the morning and you sit down and say, I've got to post on all these platforms.
Yeah.
And you obviously have to have change of clothing for, Instagram and then OnlyFans. And where else are you on? So TikTok?
So TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Reddit, Twitter, and then obviously my OnlyFans. Oh, and Fansly as well.
So Fansly is a sort of copycat of OnlyFans.
It's in competition. So what happened was, and I was one of the first creators on OnlyFans. So I'm an OG. OG, so to speak. But I'm one of the first creators. And so what happened was a competitor, Fansly, started up, but they, around the same time, but they really weren't popular. OnlyFans really got its big boost. And then, there are so many creators now. I think over a million creators.
Well, there are 150 million followers or subscriptions on OnlyFans. So,
and let me tell you, it's not easy to get onto OnlyFans either. Like, the whole making of an account as a user, it's not user friendly, but people want that. People crave that. So people will jump through hoops to get an account with OnlyFans so that they can be part of this next generation, so to speak, in the adults industry, entertainment industry.
Okay, so I'm going back to what you do for a living.
Yeah.
Do you take your clothes off for a living?
Yes.
What do you do? You do.
I take my clothes off for a living. I am all about expression of the body. I don't find the body to be disgusting in any way, shape, or form. I think as females and men, we should be liberated. We should love ourselves. And by sharing ourselves, there's no issue with it. There's an issue with it if you believe there's an issue with it. But that would be your belief, not my belief. So I have certain boundaries where I won't go. I'm not a porn star. I don't set up videos with other people, men and women. And
you don't have sex on screen.
No. But I'll masturbate. There's nothing wrong with it. It's actually like teaching a masterclass, because masturbation is actually a super important thing. I mean, it's really important.
It is. And I've seen you on Instagram speak about sex toys and stuff. So is that also carried through to OnlyFans?
Yes, absolutely. So what OnlyFans is, it's Instagram on steroids. So Instagram is my teaser. So what you would see in my stories, which is my reality TV show, it's just living in the life of Liza. Every single day, there's a new story, as you've seen on my Instagram.
It is a reality show, for sure.
It's a reality show, and people have been a part of my life for 6 years. And so waking up every morning and creating a new narrative for them to see the ins and outs of it on a daily basis, it can be exhausting. And it can be exhausting to be at the restaurant with your husband and you pull out your phone and the poor guy has to sit there while you start making, commentary and a whole new episode for today. And you know what? It's really like I've never, if you're going to ask me, I'm going to ask myself this question. Do I tell people what I do? Yes. All my friends know exactly what I do. I am not ashamed of this profession at all. The thing is, it's become so... It's such a normal job now. That's the difference. Where I think South Africans and where I came from, people are very conservative. But women are feisty, and the women have these temperaments behind that conservativeness that they would love to step out. But it takes a sense of bravery as well. Yeah. And you know what? You might be shamed by people, but the shame's on them, not on you. If you truly own who you are in life, there is nothing anyone can say to put you down. And so that's why I don't lie about what I do. I tell everyone. I even tell my daughter's best friend's mothers know, from the school. They know what I do.
I'm reminded of the Instagram post when you drove to school naked with your seatbelt over your
seatbelt over my nipple. Yeah, but that was on Instagram, and that's totally fine. And my nipples are covered. You can wear pasties on Instagram. It's all in good fun.
Yeah, and that's the sense that you
can't use a body.
Yeah, what is life without a bit of fun?
Right, yeah.
So for those critics who come at you, and like I went to a lunch on Sunday, and somebody said, "What are you doing?" And I told them what I was doing, and this guy said, "Oh man, it's so slutty and it's so terrible, and how can it be so porny? And what are you doing photographing this woman?" Etc., etc. And I just asked one question back, and I said, "Do you watch porn?" And he said, yeah. I said, "Well then, so talk to me about supply and demand."
Yeah, it's all about supply and demand, and why is the woman the bad one, or why is the man? Because there's women and men that are, doing the same thing in the profession. But in general, it's never a man. You don't really hear that, like, oh, that male porn star. You hear about the women.
Yeah, you never do.
You never hear about the man. But you always hear about the woman. And so, again, it's small-mindedness. And again, it's about power, the power struggle between men and women always, right? And I don't know why it's an issue, why some men feel that they need to put women down in that regard. Maybe it's out of jealousy. Maybe he wishes he could just have a moment with me. No. Why would he say I'm slutty? He doesn't even know me. Has he seen my OnlyFans before? Maybe that's a question for him.
Liza, if your daughter came home when she was 19 and said, "I want to do this on OnlyFans," how do you feel? How do you respond?
You know what? I would say I would give it a few years, honey. I would say you can't even drink yet at age 19 in the United States. It's 21 is the legal age for drinking. I'd say leave it a few years. And really understand who you are first. Go to university, go study. You don't need to provide for a household right now. And, she's from an affluent family. It's like she's not going to need to propel herself. This is my career. This is my job choice. Like, I've got to make a certain amount of money every month to keep this.
But what you're not doing is saying no, which is really great. You're explaining to her the situation.
No, I would just say give it a few years, and if this is truly the career path you want to go down, because this really is a lifelong decision. Because once your information, once your videos, once you've established a platform, and let me tell you, it is not easy to be a superstar on social media.
No. It comes with a whole lot of stuff.
Blood, sweat, and tears. And I've had accounts being shut down, and so you have to start all over again. You don't just make money on OnlyFans like that. It's a long process. It takes brain smarts. Honestly, the girls that are the best in the business, they know dummies. Like, honestly.
Yeah, I always say that you're probably one of the most astute businesswomen I know, or business people, because you know your market, you know your pricing, you know what you need to do it. Yeah. And that's what I always say. And I say you your research and development is spot on. Your marketing is fantastic. So you can't do this job unless you're completely switched on.
Exactly. Completely. And you got to
I'm just going to go to some of the comments here. So Margot Moore says, "I think your clarity is so cool." And Margot is also a photographer, so she will understand why I really enjoyed photographing you, because as photographers, we always get responses where people go, "Oh, I don't like this I don't want to be photographed, and I hate my picture." And yet you and I had such a brilliant relationship where you just said, "Let's do this." Yeah. And it was a beautiful, beautiful experience for me as a photographer to be given an opportunity to work with someone who loves their body, and who is prepared to push some boundaries. And so, you and I, we've done three amazing shoots, your wedding and then two others. And I look forward to more. It was a really great experience for me as a
So we're going to
photographer.
do tons of shoots when I move back to South Africa.
When are you moving back?
In the next few years, hopefully. Well, I bought the house in South Africa, so
Yeah, it's a cool house.
it's a very cool house.
So
Yeah.
Organic Home says do the 5. What does that mean? Is that rude?
I don't know. I have no idea what that is.
Maybe you can explain Organic Home.
I don't know.
Yeah. So the other question is, how many collective followers do you have?
Oh, over 1 million.
Wow.
Yeah, over 1 million.
Okay. And which one is the best platform for you, the most lucrative?
Well, OnlyFans is where you're making the money.
Okay.
But you can't have OnlyFans making the money without the others, because it's a funnel, right? So you've got to have the big bucket, and that's all the social media platforms, because that's where the large majority of people are, and that's what's getting you noticed. And then you'll create the wealthiest platform ever, right? You've got a whole big bucket, and then out of that bucket, a few will trickle. So the larger the bucket, the more will trickle. And so, yeah, I mean, the percentage ratio on like over 1 million, like really, that's why I say it takes so much hard work to become the best in the industry. You know, it's girls that, and I do say that, like, once you are going to go down this road, you better be damn sure that when you get there, if this is about money making for you and it's truly something you want to do for expression and all the things, and you feel good with it and kosher with it, you got to work your butt off. And you've just got to make sure that you understand it's not a get rich quick scheme. You've got to put in time, and you've got to develop all of your platforms, and you've got to be on all the platforms constantly. I mean, it's pretty exhausting. But
it's quite tiring. I mean, I'm in battle with one Instagram account.
I'm going to retire eventually. And the thing is, I think I'm going to just morph into my cooking shows as I get older. Although I could be a GILF eventually, as they call it. Not a MILF. I'm a MILF right now, but I could become a GILF, a grandma. You know?
Grandma, yeah. And you could be the sexiest GILF in the world.
I think there is a 90-year-old woman on OnlyFans.
No ways.
There's a pretty old one, and she does pretty successful, because there's fetishes out there like you can't believe. Because who gets to see a 90-year-old 90-year-old woman naked and like expressing herself. So for a lot of people, that's a very different. It's like they would maybe want to see that. It makes sense to me. Like, okay, I've never seen that before. Maybe I want to see that.
Do you legitimize people's curiosity?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because any question is a good question. If you are thinking something, then maybe ask it, and let's see if we'll find out how, you know what I mean? It's like, I could answer it. I could not answer it, but that's on me. I can choose what I want to answer and what I don't want to answer. Right? But I think it's super important. And with the whole sex toy thing, you know, people, again, are very religious in a lot of the sectors that come and follow me as well. There's a lot of Arabic men. There's tons of Arabic men that follow me. And so the whole sex toy thing, yeah, it's a bit of a mystery. And they want to know, and they want to be educated in it. So I'm all for it. I understand how they work. I have my favorite toys. I name my toys.
I know you do.
And then, you know, if I get a new toy, I'll like say, hey, if anyone
introduce it.
Yes, absolutely. I did. And then Instagram took it down because you can't apparently show a silicone penis on social media.
Silicone.
I don't know why. It's not even but hey, it's real to me.
It's real to you. Okay, we've got Tiger Shark from Texas. He says Liza is a great inspiration to me.
This is Anthony. Hi, Anthony.
And then we have a name that I can't pronounce, saying, is this live? And I want to tell him that it is. I've got my younger brother, Anthony Smythe, who says, hello, guys, but we're both girls.
Yeah.
But hi, Ant. So I think I want to go back to like message for young women.
Oh.
What would you say to your daughter or to her friends when you're sitting around it and they're 21 years old? What's the message?
Be yourself. You be you, and you do you. don't ever let anyone tell you what a boundary is. A boundary is your own space, So, stay in your safe zone and do what makes you feel good. And by doing that,
without shame.
Without shame, absolutely. Shame is the worst thing. It is debilitating, and it causes so much trauma to so many people. Not just the person in shame, but everyone else around them, because you know what? You live in lies, and lies are super seedy and can be so dangerous that if you can finally just accept who you are and love yourself for it and respect yourself by doing yourself, you'll be miles ahead of everyone else, always. And honestly, people feed off of that as well. It's maybe why you were attracted to me as well, my story, because I give off this, it's part of my aura, it's part of my character, it's authentic. If you can't trust anyone that doesn't prove to you that you can, that earning trust is super important. But how do you gain trust with someone? Through honesty. And
clarity,
I have always tried to be authentic and honest to the best of my ability. But since I've been able to do this, I promise you it's opened so many doors for me, and I've met the most amazing people. And people actually want to hear my story, and I've been able to educate them about the lifestyle I walk. But for my daughter and her friends, it is just about being yourself, just being honest, not being shameful, talking about things. You've got to talk until you're deaf and until your tongue.
Bella Bryant says, I love that you be you, which is true.
Yeah,
you be you. Yeah. And Bella's the mom of two beautiful daughters.
Yeah.
And then what is your message for young men?
The same thing. It's across the board. We are all just souls trying to make it through this life. And you can't make it through this life if you don't love yourself. So you better you better start appreciating who you are and know who you are. Stop. This is part of the problem. We all worry about what everyone else is doing, but you've got to worry about what you are doing first. It's like oxygen mask in an airplane. We are always taught, help yourself first before you help others. So same thing, right? Help yourself first, and then you can go out and tell others or help others.
Absolutely, sure. So does Liza love men?
Yeah.
And does she understand men? I mean, I feel like you do.
Well, I feel like I do. I think I do. But, on any given day, sometimes I can mess up too. I'm not perfect. Some days I can think this is what somebody wants or think I understand. And then I'm like, I see that one coming. But that's okay, because I like the shock factor too. And it's always good for me to keep learning, because I want to learn and I want to grow. Sure. But no, I love men and women. I like all genders. I don't even know if gender's a thing anymore, to be quite honest. I think we're moving in such a vast direction now, but this is a whole other conversation. But I love all. Like, you just, and I am bisexual, so I just chose to marry a man.
Yeah, and as you say, you're honest, and everyone knows, everyone is close to you knows you, and there's very little that comes in the way of you and truth.
Oh, yeah, completely. And the other thing is I bear all on my social media platforms. There's a lot people know about me, more than they know about any other social media person, because I feel like
you're prepared to be vulnerable and to go out there.
This was a very interesting social experiment, actually, and an experience during COVID, because in 2020, people were in lockdown in Italy and all over the world, as you know. And so they were in like New York confined spaces. I mean, imagine being in a big city in lockdown. Awful. In South Africa, you guys still walked the beaches. You weren't supposed to, but you did. And, you still stepped out a little bit and had your space. But there were many people around the world that were trapped and isolated and alone. And social media gave me a platform to connect on a level with these humans that were bored out of their mind, depressed, and going through hell in their prison cell that was their home, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's such an art, eh?
So I could connect on lives on my cell phone, cook with them, eat with them, have fun with them, dance with them, put on, and also in so doing, it was a give and take there for me because it gave me something to do. I was bored out of my mind too. So I was able to dance for a crowd rather than just dancing alone and being like, oh, I'm going to drink another bottle of wine. Yay. No, you have to keep your wits about you. You have to, connect and talk and check out if everyone's doing okay. And then you can connect with them on the lives like this. We get the split screen. And I'm telling you, it was a very interesting time for social media. I think
but it must have also really helped a lot of people have that connection, because as you say, you're living in a flat in New York and you can't even get outside.
No.
And you don't see another human being. Imagine how nice that would be to be able to engage in such a flirtatious and fun and light-hearted and reciprocal
sometimes
fashion.
Felt like nothing was going on in the world. It sometimes felt like everything was just as it was supposed to be, normal.
Did you see your subscriptions rise during COVID?
Oh, OnlyFans went off the chains during. That's where it really. FedEx. Sorry.
FedEx.
It's daytime.
What is it? A sex toy?
No, I don't. I think this is a cabin toy. Something for the cabin.
Oh, cabin. Oh God, cabin. Question to you is: what would make your year?
What would make my year? Oh, that is a big question. Wow, didn't see that one coming. What would make my year? Honestly, there's so much crap happening in this country right now, and in Iran as well. I'm shocked at what's going on in the world in general. What would make my year is for women to be able to take control of themselves and not have powers that be dictate who they can be and what they can be. Like I would honestly take that pain away from the world. I would just that would make my year.
That's amazing.
Well, what's happening in the US right now is really bad. Women just don't have control over their own bodies.
Terrible,
and it's a bad thing. I mean, we've gone through a lot, and it just seems like it's going backwards in time. So I don't know. It's like Handmaid's Tale is a real thing right now.
I mean, how advanced was that? Yeah.
So, and especially having a daughter, I just don't want my daughter to grow up in a society like this. I think it's for her to have no rights. And, Idaho, they are in Idaho, sorry, just to go off point here, but the Idaho University just said if no teachers are allowed to even supply, the university is not allowed to supply condoms to students even. Unless
it's going backwards.
You are not allowed to have an abortion. If you have an abortion, you will be sentenced to death in Arizona. How about that? I mean, it is.
So we're definitely going to look forward to you coming to South Africa. You're going to come back here and live here, right?
I'm going to live there, yes, and I'm going to spice things up.
In St. Francis. We so look forward to you coming.
Well, when I was there last, we did spice things up, and it was a lot of fun.
No, we did. You did. For sure you did.
I still get messages.
They're still talking about you. They're still talking about you.
I still get messages from some of the girls from the village, and they're like, oh my gosh, wish you were here. Could we go party? I'm like, yeah, completely. Next year, I'll be back.
No, we so look forward to you coming. That's for sure. So Debs De Silva is a good friend of mine. She says, great interview. Quick question. If you did not do what you do, what would you be doing? It's a great question.
I'd be depressed. I mean, I love what I'm doing. I can't see myself doing anything other than what I'm doing right now. I just can't because it's this, honestly, not having family here and not having a support system. What would I be able to really do being a single mom? Well, married now, but my husband works full time. So how would I be present for my children? If I have to get a job, then I have to hire a nanny, or my kids come home from school and they're stuck here by themselves.
I mean, this job gives you great flexibility.
I have all the flexibility in the world. Now, is this going to be forever? No, but nothing for me is forever really in the workspace, because I'm super creative. So I've got to I need to stay in the creative space. So if I wasn't doing this, it would be something else creative, but I would have to be at home And I don't know what else could be more lucrative than what I do now.
Absolutely.
So,
And staying at home.
while I can make the money, I think I should
Absolutely.
stick in that zone and stick with it. But I'll be honest, I have zero. There's not even a question in my mind what I do, if it's bad or if it's, it's just what I do, and it's what I love to do, and it's what excites
And it's what you do really, really well. I mean, your level of engagement with your followers is superb.
It is great. And it's great to be able to connect with people from all over the world every single day. And I don't ever get bored. That's the biggest thing. So if I wasn't doing this, I would be doing my cooking show. But I'm doing my cooking show and I'm doing this. So I feel alive and I feel energized, and I'm proud of myself. And I think I've accomplished a heck of a lot, especially being a South African coming into the United States. And
how wonderful.
States.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a hell of a story.
And then also having the ability to come back to South Africa and then live in South Africa and bring my dollars back to South Africa. And more South Africans need to do that. I don't know how many of your viewers are South African or from South Africa living in other countries, but there are places in South Africa that are amazing. And, there's problems, but there's problems everywhere. Trust me, no place is perfect. Home is where the heart is, everyone.
I know it's probably the last question now, but what do you say to people who say about objectifying women?
Well, some people would say that you are the reason why women are objectified. To me,
that's person.
There are people that say, Liza, you are the reason why women are objectified. And I said, well, no, being objectified is within the person that's objectifying a woman.
Totally. They're the ones who are judging. Yeah, exactly. I get it.
It's not my fault if somebody wants to objectify. It's like there could be a very nice looking steak on the table, for instance, beautiful filet, and somebody would be like, oh my God, that's amazing. Ooh, I want to eat that, right? Objectifying that dish. There might be a vegan that walks past and goes, oh my God, that's disgusting.
Yeah, so it just comes from the framework of that person.
It's a frame of mind and a mindset, and really, if you don't want to be there, then just don't look. Don't subscribe. Don't follow my page. Yeah. Don't look at my pictures.
Don't judge
me. Don't look for negativity or something that's going to fuel anger within yourself. Just do you. Just worry about yourself. Don't worry about me.
And tonight you have given us such insight into how you do you. And I want to thank you for these last 90 minutes. It's been illuminating and interesting and fascinating and educational. And you better start posting some of those ones back onto Instagram, like a little Incy Bikino.
Yeah, I'll do it.
It's Liza Lesedi, all right.
Yeah, Liza Lesedi. And thanks so much, Sandy. What a great little interview. And
it was such a joy and I've always said you're the most authentic person, and there is very little about you that doesn't stick close to what you are in your being. So I look forward to, I know you're going to change your name again, but I look forward to meeting the new person.
You have
and
any suggestions on
there? Maybe we should ask people for suggestions.
Yeah, let's ask the audience if there is a name you think I should change to next. I change about once every year.
Jessica.
That's
Jessica. I think I shot that photograph. Maybe on Instagram you can start following Liza and then give her a name that she can start using. But I look forward to hugging you and giving you a big welcome back hug on using your real name when you get back to St. Francis.
No, yes. I can't wait, Sandy. Can't wait. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate the time.
Thank you. I really do.